Welcome to Two Sisters Podcast with your hosts, Christy and Melissa, who are real sisters bringing you real talk about life and faith through humor, insight, and community. Now, let's get into this week's episode.
Okay.
What's up, Summer?
Did y'all hear what I was saying? I was like, okay, two sisters.
No, we didn't hear you. We didn't hear you. It mutes us.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's what I was saying when I was watching y'all intro, looking all sophisticated and whatnot. I was like, okay.
Yeah. We tried. We tried.
Yeah, we tried. Girl, I was here for it. Okay.
We do try. Okay. Well, I try. This
is looking like, okay.
She's like, I'm just here so I don't get a fine.
Right. But I'm just letting you know now, me and Coach Melissa, we be hyped up. You know, we here for a good time and a long
time. I know. Okay? She said, I know. She said, oh, I know.
Right. Okay.
This ain't new to us. Okay?
Yeah, this ain't. You know, we love this. Okay.
So, yeah, Summer, thank you so much for joining Two Sisters Podcast. Got me and my buddy here in the building. Sister. Yes. Not my buddy. This treat. Yeah, my buddy, my pal, my sis. I know she didn't. Do you even
hey,
know
Christy
that
girl.
Hey. She's singing My Buddy. I don't even think you know what that's
okay.
To those who know.
Is that like one of those things where it's like, tell me your age without telling me your age? You know? Okay.
Yes. But yes, we are
my buddy,
my sis. So yes, we are so super excited for having you here. Yes. And just bringing on. I love, we are about women empowerment, and we're about, just informing, uplifting, and just basically, sharing knowledge and just evolving and becoming better. Mm-hmm. So yes, so I want to stop there. And Summer, I just want to ask you to just tell the peoples, okay, who are you? Who is Summer Tinch? And I love your name, by the way. It just sounds like ting. So
thank you. I was, just so y'all know, this is a little freebie. Somebody actually asked me this at work the other day, about my name. And I was like, I was born on the first day of summer, and the year that I was born, I'm not going to say the year I was born, but the year that I was born, it was the first day of summer. So that's why my first name was Summer. It's going to be Taylor, but it's actually Summer. I would definitely say, to that point that I'm like some sunshine, I would say, yes. Sunshine on a good day, on a, pretty girl weather kind of day. Like that's kind of me. You know what I mean? Like it's not too hot, it's not too cold. The pretty girls are out. So
yeah.
But like, how can I say? I don't know. I'm kind of like out there, but I'm kind of like reserved, very selfless. I would say kind, gracious. I'm learning very much so how to be very much more gracious, a gracious woman to myself, to others, very compassionate, outgoing, just a good time. Like, I like to laugh. I like to eat good. I'm like your good girlfriend. Like, you know what I mean? Down to earth, love a good time, love a good shopping trip, like that's Summer.
Yeah, you can leave me out the shopping part.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm here for it all up until that point. Why are you looking like that? No.
She shop it down.
No.
She is a shopper. Like she's way more of a shopper than me. She doesn't like to shop.
No.
But she definitely is into fashion, which I think is an oxymoron. Like,
yes, I'm into
which
fashion.
Which one is it?
I love fashion, but I don't like to shop. I'm not the chick that try on everything.
She doesn't like to shop with other people.
Right. Oh, heavy on that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like you need to know the difference.
All right.
You be like more specific in this group.
By yourself, and you like fashion and you enjoy that.
Yes.
You just don't like shopping with other people because other people aren't on your page.
Okay, yeah. So let me explain just a tad before we get into this. Okay, so yes, I love fashion. I'm into fashion, all things fashion. Like I love fashion. Mm-hmm. However, especially with women, I'm more of a dude in the sense that I know exactly what I want and what I don't want.
Can't we just all get along?
Okay. And going into stores with people, Okay, they got to try on everything. They got to go up and down the racks. They got to go up and down the aisles.
That's right.
So yeah, so we, Summer, cannot shop together because I will leave you.
Listen.
So you like to just pretty much, you know what you're going in the store for.
I go get it and I come out.
And
but
then
also,
you probably get like 3 of those things that you like in every color kind of thing, or you just kind of like.
She can do that. Look, I gotta speak out for my people. For my people, okay?
For my people.
She can go in the store and be focused because whatever's on the rack will fit her. You know what I mean? Whatever her size is, her body proportions are.
Well, that ain't the case now.
It is. I think it still is. Whatever she doesn't have to navigate when a top fits but the bottom doesn't, or the bottom fits and the top doesn't. You know what I mean? So as far as like measurements, like she's true to size.
Okay, she's blessed.
Those of us who have to try on clothes have to try on clothes.
Yeah.
Logistic wise,
I disagree.
And so that's where the disconnect is.
That's really why I have to try on stuff. It's not because of my height. So I
don't know how we got on this in the introduction, but anyway,
we're talking about fashion.
Like shop with women, and let's don't win
because every last one of them. Okay, I just be like in the thing, like I am the dude, I'm the husband, just sitting there, like, why am I here?
You ain't gonna do us like that.
Why am I here?
So that is the difference. And so, of course, when she's going shopping with other people who have to try on clothes, that's not her favorite.
It's aggravating.
Okay. But she does like to shop.
I know to call Christy.
Yes, Christy.
Yeah, if it could be Melissa's choice, she'll shop by herself for herself, or shop for you.
I'll shop for you. Yeah, but I also
you can't come along.
I'm online. I'm an online shopper, so I feel like that's not the same.
So yes, we need.
Yeah, it's not.
See. Anyway, we'll get into that some on the after call
sidebar.
All right. Yeah. So so thank you for that. I do completely agree with who you are. You are definitely fun. You're definitely like fun spirited. Like you are sunshine. Like, you know what I mean? Like you are not dreary in the least. Okay. So you are so magnetic.
So
like
you are your namesake.
Yeah, you bring in happiness. Literally. You're joy to be around. Yes, you are, honey. You are. So I just want you to know that. Okay. So yeah. Why are you laughing? This is like a love moment, right?
It was the heart. It was the hearts for me.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's get into what you do. We want to know, how did you get what? Don't be hating.
No, I need help.
Okay.
What do you think I'm here?
Okay.
I need fashion help, Summer.
Okay.
No. Anyway,
I need help. Let's get to the help.
We want to know, how did you get started in the fashion industry, and like why fashion?
I think I want to go way back with it because it really started like somewhere in the 90s, like probably around 97, 98, when I had this thing as a kid when I was like pretending to be Whitney Houston when she was performing and she was coming out. Because I know Whitney during, back in the day before all that stuff happened. We ain't gonna talk about my auntie like that. But, she was a whole dream, baby. She, she could turn the heads in the room. She had this presence and this beauty that just, she was just very iconic, from the gowns that she would wear, from that beautiful skin, melanin, honey. It was the melanin for me. I think it really just started there when my auntie would come over and she would say, introducing with Miss Whitney Houston, and it would be me, and I would go stand on the mantle and whatever I was wearing, pretending I was Whitney. I think it really just started there, and then progressively, like I just started exploring things. Like making curtains. My mom would take me to like the thrift store and she would buy me patterns. And I had like this cute like sewing machine. I've never told anybody this too, but she bought me this like cute little sewing machine and I would like sew on it. And then, I always would love to like dress up, all those kind of like cute little frilly dresses that your mom made you wear in the 90s that you probably scream about today.
Yes.
That's what I wore. The ones that would irritate your skin. So your mom would have to put you on like a tank top or put some tissue under there because it was just too much. And she would get it from the little Asian store. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was me. I think that's where it all really started with me. And then I want to say like around 2018, I think 2015, 2018, I started really just exploring different things. My cousin, she started writing and producing her own content. And so she pulled me in to do like some just design work. So I started with that. Then I started styling people, like just anyone that I could style for free. And my mom would hate it, like that I style people for free, but I just had to figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
Be styling people and charging people and it's looking a mess. So you really just need like a couple
Right.
years to get
Right.
it together and perfect
Practice.
it. Yeah, exactly. I was practicing, you know. I was styling anybody, styling them out my closet, styling my sister out her closet. You know, my niece, whenever she would dress up for Halloween, I was styling her. In college, I was cutting clothes, bleaching. Honey, I was just experimenting with fashion. And then I think I eventually went into like the nursing, well, applied for the nursing program. I was on that track to do that. And I was working in the hospital for like a few years. And I realized then that something was missing. And during that time, I was like looking at magazines and all this different stuff and looking up Fashion Week. And I still just had like a little interest in it, but I just wasn't really sure. And I started writing for a local magazine. But that really just didn't fulfill me. And it was really just the styling that really fulfilled me, like playing dress up, essentially. I realized like that's for me and making women feel good about like what they're wearing, you know. It's just a
Yeah.
moment that I can't really explain it. It's just this feeling that I get. You know, when I'm on a shoot and I'm working with a client, if you hear me say yes, I know I found that moment because I'm like, yes, what? Like you hear me doing anything, I've found that moment. You know,
Yeah.
I can't really teach that for a client. You know, they have to really just have that, but you can tell a difference when the client has stepped into a totally different space, you know, just one of confidence. They just start working that garment. They just start, you know, they ain't never modeled a day in their life, but they just start swerving, you know.
That's
And
me.
that's kind of the moment that I live for, and I feel like really fulfilled in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
So how was the transition to nursing to that? Like how long did it take?
um It didn't take long because God had a way of like redirecting me because it seemed like every time, girl, I applied to that nursing program so many times and I kept getting rejection after rejection after rejection. I was like, something in the water ain't clean, honey. Something in the water.
Not
Could
one.
this be a closed door from the Lord?
Okay, it is because how can you be that intelligent and every time you take the test, not like you can't even get a pinky toe? Like in the door, like you can't even get a point higher. I was like, God, what is it? You know, be a brain, Jesus.
That is
Like,
so good, Summer. I want to pause here and speak to this because sometimes we think when we've had a goal for so long and the goal makes so much sense that when it closes, we automatically think it's the enemy, it's the devil. The devil is a liar. No, I'm gonna get into nursing school. I'm gonna get into that.
Right.
And
yeah.
so, talk to us about how or the moment you realize, wait, this closed door is from God. Like God closes doors, He opens doors too. Tell us about that learning experience for you.
Well, it was really shaky actually because I was like, at the time, this is another thing that I didn't mention. Like when I was a kid, I went through this fine line. Maybe because my mom let me explore everything, honey. I probably was an astronaut one week, a makeup artist the next, honey. She just let me explore a lot of different things, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
I just, you know, I was a prima ballerina, honey. You just couldn't tell me nothing. So, but even as a kid, like my dad's family, I told them like my name is not Summer, it's Nurse Ashley. So I think I just started putting that in everybody's mind. So when it came time for college, and I was trying to get into the program, everybody kept pushing me and encouraging me. And I'm like, it was really rocky at that point for me because everyone was like, no, God really wants you to be a nurse. Like, this is for you. And I'm like, y'all, how many times can you knock on the door for him to be like, hello, hello? Like, this ain't Jericho, baby. Like, it's not gonna come down. Like,
All the time.
like this is not like Jericho is not gonna come down for you. It's okay. But if you walk around it on the other side, you're gonna see something else. That's
Right,
what it
right,
is. You know what I mean?
right. I love
So
that.
so it was just like one of those things for me where I was like just again just kept walking around that and I was like, well, maybe I need to just find something, go back to that original thing of just fashion. So I was like, well, I got to have some type of degree because we break a generational curse over here, point blank, period. And mama said, you got to go to college, you got to finish college. So it was like at that point, I started looking up degrees for people who were like in fashion. And so I was like, well, my school at the time didn't have, it may have things now, but it didn't have anything catered to fashion. So I was like, well, I'll just get a business marketing degree and then I'll just keep pushing my business. And I remember when COVID hit, I just had this inner feeling in my heart, like this, I don't know how to explain it. It was just kind of like, just I wasn't content, you know. And I was just like, God, it's got to be something else for me because I'm working here at this job. We already know that the medical field ain't it. I mean, you do not have to send me a t-shirt and a sign for me to do the math. And so I was like, it's got to be something else. And so my pastor dad now, he was just he prophesied to me. He was like, Summer, there's this door doing what you already like to do. And I'm thinking like, okay, because clearly the last door I was at, it wasn't the right door. So it's definitely got to be another door for real, like what you said. So, so he was saying it was another door that was going to open up for me doing what I already like doing. So I'm thinking like, okay, cool. If I already like playing with clothes, then that means I'm going to get a job playing with clothes. And so sure enough, the math did add up. And I think like 4 months later after he said it, I started working in the film industry right after that, you know. And then that was when I realized like, okay, I can still do my business and I can still function as a creative, like doing what I love to do. Because most people think, you know, a lot of people that I talk to these days, they don't think that it's really a job doing what you actually like doing, but it's literally a job for everything you like doing. You just haven't been, your eyes hadn't been opened up to that. You know what I mean? And so, and that's exactly what happened at the time. My eyes wasn't open up to anything else. I didn't know it. And maybe at the point too, I didn't think it was really possible, should I say. It's
Right.
so, but once I got that first job, I just, you know, kept at it, and I'm still at it, you know. But I'm a lot closer than I was before when I started, you know.
The math was mathing.
So let's talk about accolades early on. So you jumped total different industries, switched gears. God was leading you by closing doors.
Just about to say, she said something about the pandemic. While doors was closed for everybody else, it was opening for her.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. So tell us about, like, you've worked with some very high profile people in a very short amount of time from this drastic change of career. You don't have to drop names, but just, was that validating for you? Like, oh wow, I am doing the right thing.
Yeah, it was like every opportunity, every door, like, you know, just even working in the industry, it still blows my mind that sometimes even when I'm at work, I think it's like a sense of humility when I'm in the room. I'm like, I'm actually in the room. Like the other week when we were doing prep, I'm working on this show, this Netflix show. I'm working on this Netflix show and it's about us and legacy kind of thing, without saying too much. But long story short, when I was sitting in the room with the seamstress and I was leaning on the table, I was like, wow. I was like 3 or 4 years ago, I was just hoping to be in the room. And I was sharing this with some of the people that I teach, because like every now and again I teach on set costuming. And so I was sharing this with some of the students in my last class that during that course of the time before the pandemic hit, I knew that I wanted to work in film. I was like, okay, well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Well, I guess I wouldn't say I knew, but I had like my application, should I say, for membership printed out for 4 years. And during that time, I connected with a designer, a costume designer from LA. And every time she would come to work in Atlanta, I would get so excited because she would let me come down and visit her. And so I remember the first time I came down, I went to visit her. I called my mom and I told her, I was like, Mom, I'm down here with, her name is Rita. I was like, I'm down here with Rita. And this is the Pocky Brown project. Like, I'm actually in the room. And then And then I think the next time after that, she came down for another project. I can't remember, but they were shooting at TPS, Tyler Perry Studios, because he rents out stages to other productions. So she was down there at that time, and she let me come again, spend the day with her. And I remember when I was leaving, I was crying. I started crying because I was like, man, I want this so bad. But like I said, during that time, like I see how God was still at play, because sometimes he has to put you in the room before you occupy the room.
Girl,
like,
preach.
He's got to take you up in there, because you got to get vision for where you're going. Because in my mind, it was looking so like unattainable at the time. And so that's why like my drive and my work ethic is a lot different from other people, because it wasn't given to me. And I know I prayed about every opportunity that I've gotten. Everyone came by like prayer, fasting, crying.
Right.
It wasn't a handout. Like, like a lot of people that I work with in the industry. Oh, your brother's doing this. Shouldn't he get you a job? This person. Shouldn't they get you? No. It wasn't nobody but God. Okay. Like every job, every opportunity, But I just remember crying when I was leaving, because I really wanted to be in that room. And again, I still had to go back. I knew, like David, like I was to be king, should I say? Yeah. But I still had to go back out into the exactly. Tend to the sheep. Exactly. And that was at the hospital. And I was just like, what in the world? This is ghetto here. Like, get somebody else to do it. But I had to do it faithfully for 4 years. Like, and it was like a lot of pruning and cultivating, but still at that time, I was still styling and still working there, But again, I have like, it's so mind blowing. I was just telling my mom, I will say this. I was just telling my mom last night, I said, girl, you'll never believe who laundry I did yesterday. She was like, who's Summer? I was like, girl, Denzel Washington, honey. She was like, what? I was like, yes, girl. I washed his linen yesterday. His like bathroom set, girl, for his bathroom on set. I was like, ooh. I'm like, you can't say that every day,
But, right. Exactly. I mean, it was people awesome. Dreaming.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it wasn't like a creepy thing. It's just like, I kind of count it as a privilege. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of count it as a privilege, because like it's not like every day that stuff like happens. Like his teamster comes to say, hey, this is for his trailer. Can you watch this stuff for me? I was like, who's this? He's like, it's Denzel's. I'm like, oh.
Like, gladly.
Look, let me use some detergent.
You want some bounce with that? Some sniffles? Listen.
Right. I was like, let me add a little oxy in there, make it smell a little good. Make sure it's clean to the teeth.
Clean linen smell.
Not to mention on our first week of prep, he's not in it. He's producing it, but on our first week of prep, we were standing around. It was like me, the supervisor, and the coordinator, and I was talking about the supplies for the truck, because on this show, I run the truck, the costume truck, and so. I was sitting in the office with my supervisor and the coordinator, and we were going through the supplies that I needed, and the coordinator said, oh my God. She was like, is that Denzel? And I'm like, what? And as soon as I said it, he walked through the front door, and we were all like, hey, and he was like, is Danielle in here? And we were like, and my supervisor was like, come with me. Come on. It's okay.
But don't know attention.
Yeah. But I think
what a moment.
He's him and Ruth Carter, I feel like, are the only two moments. Like when I met Ruth Carter, my homegirl called me and was like, girl, you got to get to my house. And I was at Piedmont Park in Atlanta. I'll never forget, with my best friend and my other close friend. We were down there having a good time, having a girls' day picnic. She called me. She said, girl, you got to get to my sister's house quick. And I was like, what? She was like, Ruth is here. She is here, girl. I was like, what? I ain't have on my good makeup, my cute outfit, nothing. I was like, girl. Yeah, like I had on some makeup, but it just, honey, you didn't want to go. Like, it was a whole moment for me, but I just had to go. I just had to go. So she told me that she was there when I pulled up. She was getting out of the car, I think, because she was going back and forth. Her husband was in the car waiting on her. She was going back and forth. She's about to walk inside. And I was telling my homegirl, I was like, girl, come here. I'm scared. She was like, no, go. So she watched from a distance. And I was like, Miss Carter. She was like, yes. I was like, can I ask you some questions and take a picture? I think that was those to me, those were like the top two best moments. Like Denzel walking in at work and me meeting Ruth Gardner. Like,
yeah, for
Those
sure.
are great moments.
For sure.
yeah.
So okay, so I'm happy for you. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, it's great when you win, like everyone under you win, like everyone around you win. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I wish that more people understand that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason and no room to hate. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because what's for
Exactly.
you is for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, you did the work. You're doing the work. You're
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
doing the work. And you're gonna keep doing the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So people just sometimes, you know, I don't know, they just want something or attach themselves for a free ride without the work, you know. So
Exactly.
and you won't be able to keep it that way because you won't be able to
Exactly.
appreciate it and grow it and maintain it if you don't. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people miss steps. And I think that's a big thing for me. Like people are so in industry, people are so competitive, you know. I don't know if that's the right word, red nosing or whatever, but they just do all kinds of different things that is contrary to the word of God, you know, as a believer that we should be doing in order to advance. And so I just say that to say I think a lot of people think that's how you advance, you know, throwing people under the bus or doing all kinds of different things. And that's not the case. Like you're not going to get anything without real work. You know what
Right.
I mean? And you can advance by having integrity. You can advance by, you know, Tyler Perry, he even did an interview recently, and so many people liked my comment under there. And I was like, y'all, he's giving you free game right now, letting y'all know that y'all don't have to lie, cheat, scheme, throw people under the bus to get ahead and to get where you're trying to go. You don't have to step on anybody, none of that. He literally said it and it went viral.
Yeah.
You know, but I know it still went over a lot of people's heads. But in a society where people are just so hype driven, you know what I'm saying? They want to just work with celebrities because oh, it's a hype. I'm with this person, I'm on this show. But it's just more to it than that, you know?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
that's a perfect segue into the whole reason or the whole title of this episode is integrity in business. And so my question was exactly that. Like, how do you remain positive and keep your integrity in this crazy business and that whole industry that you're in? Like that,
Yeah, fashion/film
right,
industry.
media, yeah, production.
Well,
So yeah.
like a homeboy of mine, you know, when we would talk like early on, he would always say, like, don't get lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
So
that's old too.
yeah, like, you know, so I that's what I think of because you know, there's a lot of times, even currently, you know, I value people's advice, people who have been in the industry longer than I have, you know, they give me the game and then I give others the game, you know, but
Yeah.
I do believe that there's safety in counsel, but it's really one of those things with me discerning and taking wisdom because I'm like, okay, for instance, if let's just say there's this thing again where people kind of like to throw people under the bus. So, you know, in the world's way of doing things, even in the industry, is kind of like an eye for an eye.
Yeah.
But the Bible tells us not to do that, you know, or one up someone. You do it first, and then because they were gonna do it inevitably. Like I don't operate like that, and I don't take in advice and stuff like of that nature, should I say. You know,
Yeah.
I have an inner conviction. Even when I'm working, it was something, and it was just something so small. With me being I guess going through what you would call, the Bible would say, persecution on a job. And so
Yeah.
of course your flesh kind of wants you to handle things with the flesh, but then your spirit wants you to do something else. So, you know, it's at war when you're being persecuted. Um and so to say that, the Holy Spirit reminded me just as clear as day, like, well, you know, because your flesh want to tell you, like, well, if you get back at them, you know, nobody see it. But the Holy Ghost said, oh, God see it though. Oh, God see it, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So so it's really one of those things where having that relationship with God, and like you told me in several coaching calls, God speaks spirit to spirit. He does speak audibly, especially when you know you about to get out of line. When
Yeah.
he'll speak up and be like, that does not represent me. get that in order. No,
stuff together.
Don't do it. Like,
Right.
and so there has been a time, where I wanted to do it the way that God don't want me to do it, and the Holy Spirit has been like, "Oh, but God see that." So sis, like,
gotta answer.
There's no hiding.
You gotta answer. Yes.
Yeah. So that for me, that is the biggest thing. And again, like I said, not getting lost in it's also just remembering who I am. And by knowing who I am, I know who I am not. So I know that, I'm not doing certain things. When I see certain things, I'm just like, no, I'm not on that type of time, or I don't move that way. Those are my things. Like, no, Summer, don't do that. That's not you. You know what I'm saying? If other people want to do that, that's not you.
Yes.
And it's funny too. Oh, sorry. What were we going to say, Coach Melissa?
Oh, go ahead.
It's funny too how God can even still work through your non-believing supervisor. Because sometimes, like, I was talking to my supervisor one day, and I was being so petty. And I was like, they came in here. This is what I said. I was like, they came in here like the Bopsy twins, because you know what type of time they on. And he said to me, he was like, Summer, Leader handle a lot of that. And I knew what he was saying. Like, he said it like a Southern way, but he was like, don't like name call. Leave that name out of that. You know what I'm saying? And that showed me in that moment that, like, they know you're a believer, because he might be doing it low key. But it's like, you can't do it. So I knew that was God, like, saying, like, to me, like, through him, like, you can't do it. He can do it. Everybody else can do it. But
but not you. Right.
Not you. You know what I'm saying? You can't respond that way. You can't act that way. And I actually do. I was meditating on all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. I was meditating on that scripture yesterday at work. And I was just seeing how, like, God can do some pruning in you, even through your unbeliever, because, like, my supervisor, like, being a lead, like, he's really, like, grooming me. And when I say grooming me, I mean, like, cultivating, training me. I don't mean grooming me. Okay.
Right. We understand.
Jesus. So he's, like, really training me. And so, how to be a lead, how to be a key, because that's what I am. And so he'll tell me, like, no attitude, watch that tone. And I'll be like, okay, get me together. Hold on. Real quick. So I see, like, again, even the hand of God and through that, because when I was talking to my dad earlier that morning, he had, like, just said some things confirming that, like, oh, the enemy will try to use people to come against you and make you be projected as this because of your attitude or because of your tone. And because really God, even when we're being elevated, God does care about the way that we handle authority, the way that we handle power, and the way that we handle people under us. Because some people are so power hungry, so power driven, that they do anything to get power, and they mishandle the position, and they mishandle the people. But I'm learning that, because even now I'm like more cognizant. Even when I'm saying things to my mom, I'm like, check that tone. Because, like, some of that stuff just starts in everyday life. It's not just work. It's just, So I know God is, like, doing a pruning in me, with my attitude, the way that I'm talking, and the way that I treat people, the way that my love language, because I think sometimes as believers, which we don't ever want to get in a place where we just got it all together and we're still not a work in progress, and giving ourselves grace while God is doing the work in us and through us.
Oh, I feel like a proud auntie over here. I feel like a proud auntie over here.
So speaking of fashion, what fashion tips would you give those that consider themselves, like, maybe slim, too slim, super slim?
Yeah.
Baby, she told me years ago, because I was going through this phase, and they say when you're a prophetic person, and, like, you'll do red hair, blue hair, purple hair, nose ring, lip ring, they just say you just experiment. Like those people generally just they're creatives and they experiment. So I was going through this phase where I was experimenting, and a lot of people would just be like, from my family to my friends, like every time they would see me, they'd be like, Summer, I didn't even know that was you. Like you changed your hair again. So I'm like, why do these people keep saying something to me about how I'm changing my hair? So my auntie said to me one day, Summer, do you? She was like, do what makes you happy, boo boo. Do what makes you happy. So I say that to say, if you're like really slim, do you. Like, if you still want to wear certain things, I just believe, just in general, everything should be done in moderation, you know, just period. And some things should be kept to the imagination, contrary to social media, the information that, you know, is being put out there. But some things should be done in moderation. Some things should be left to the imagination. But just for all women, just, you know, a blanket statement, I think it all begins and starts with confidence. As women, I know we struggle with confidence. It's not that we don't know that we're cute and that we're popping. We just have days where we feel that we're more popping than others. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
That's just what it is. I'm a real woman. I'm not even gonna lie about it. Like some days I'm like, I'm that girl, you know, apply pressure. You know, like I told you, me, she was like, I'm that girl. And I'm like, period. Like some days that's me. And then some days I'm like, yeah, that's who I am. So I think again, it all just begins and starts with confidence, because regardless as to what you're wearing, somebody could put you in a blanket, but baby, you can rock that blanket like nobody else. You know what I'm saying? I've styled someone on a shoot, and my homegirl is still mad about them because she's mad about that. She's like, girl, I still didn't get my pictures from that. That was some good looks that you was doing. I said, girl, I know, but you can't teach confidence on it. You cannot teach confidence. You know what I'm saying? And I think it as a woman, like, sometimes I hate to say fake it till you make it, but I mean that in a way where it's like understanding and accepting that you're not always going to feel confident. You're not always going to feel beautiful, but sometimes you just have to flow with it and rock with it and go on. And sometimes, even in those moments where I've had to just fake it, God has always sent someone, whether it's like a little kid, whether it's an adult, and they're always like, oh, you look cute. And I'm like, I do. Thank you.
That swing.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's great, because it applies to this next question, which is, you know, what tips would you give plus size women? So I feel like confidence, do you know, some days you might have days, make sure you know. The word that came to mind was modesty when you were like reading in between the lines of what you were saying. You should still have modesty. And is that what you're saying, or am I?
Yeah, you should. Whether you're super slim, you know, it's much easier for like a girl that's anywhere from like a extra small to a large to walk into a store and get anything. It's much easier versus a woman who is like extra large, 1X, 2X, 3X, whatever the case may be. It's a little bit harder. But even for the curvy women, I think it's just finding your best feature. I think that just in general, that's a one size fits all kind of thing. Whether you're skinny, you know, I always felt that my best feature was my legs. I love a good leg, baby. Like, if I got the legs
out, girl. Okay, and so
when I got my legs out, you know, like, because my confidence is top tier. Like, I love the good legs. Like, I'm here for a leg movement. You know what I'm saying? So it's something when I have my legs out, you know. But I think as a woman, you have to find your best feature and like focus on that. And even being a curvy woman, you know, like I've told my best friend, it's like, it's not that you can't do patterns, but sometimes you have to know where to put the patterns. You have to put the patterns in the right places. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is. What it is you want to draw focus to the areas that are like what you really like and take the attention away from the areas that you don't like. So sometimes women who are heavier, thick, you know, curvaceous, all of that, they don't like to show their arms. So if you don't like to show your arms, a good go-between might be a cute little cold shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Where you got a little peekaboo, but you ain't got the whole arm out. So it's still a little subtle, sexy. And then for other women who are like, you know, top heavy and bottom heavy. Well, of course, if you're top heavy, you probably don't want to wear a low cut shirt. right? You don't want to do anything that would draw attention here. So you want to minimize it. Maybe you want to do a cute little blazer. Maybe you want to do an off the shoulder shirt. So the attention is going to the shoulder. It's pulling the focus to the shoulder and not the breast. Maybe you want to do like horizontal patterns instead of vertical patterns, because when you're doing vertical, it makes you look a lot wider as versus doing horizontal lines. It makes you look a lot longer and slimmer.
That's why I don't like tube tops. Okay.
Those are great tips. And speaking of that, you dropped a word, and I want to stay here for a little minute.
Oh boy.
You dropped a word. You said, and it can still look sexy. What do you say to our community, of believers who think sexy, you can't do that? And then
it's taboo.
It's taboo. And then walk with me through, like, if you've been church for any long period of time, women have not been very encouraged, if anything,
to show that leg.
When women are being spoken to from the pulpit in the past, it's been, don't be a hindrance, right? Cover yourself. You can't,
Where's the prayer cloth?
So speak to that, like, church culture. And I'm going to just say mainly maybe in the Black church, because that's what we know. And then how does that conflict with what you're trying to do and what the truth is as far as women and their confidence and being sexy and being a Christian and being a believer? How do we balance that? And what is your opinion of that?
All right, bars.
Well, first of all, anything she puts on is going to be sexy, point blank period, regardless, heavy on that. So, no, I'm joking. But
do yourself. Speak your truth. Speak your truth.
I have to go with my conviction. You know what I mean? Like, again, I want people to look at me and guess. And I don't want people to put their own convictions on me. You know what I mean? Because I'm in fashion. I love a good ripped jean. Sometimes I wear ripped jeans to church, but I would rather keep it at the knee as opposed to the thigh. Like, one time my dad asked me, we had like one of those services going on, and I had just forgot because I like jeans and I don't give it a second thought. I'm like, oh, that's a cute one that go with this top, and that's the one I'm wearing. That's how I move in the morning when I get dressed. So when I went to church that night, I forgot that the rip was a little bit above the knee. Okay. So he most definitely asked me to come up there and sing, but I was just like, jeans on. Definitely didn't plan for that, but luckily in that moment I didn't hear the Holy Spirit say any sound. So in my mind it was like, cool, don't pass green, don't pass gold, and collect $200 in taxes. So I definitely told my dad, like, I didn't hear the Holy Spirit say anything, I didn't hear no song, and I was like, the way my jeans was set up, I did have a jacket though, I did, but I still was just like, we got guests in the house, so if they catch me doing this on a Sunday, then okay. But we got like guests, like big guests, That's what I was thinking. So, but in certain kind of churches, they've always, what first came to mind was I love my legs. And I remember growing up in my childhood church, a lot of like the older women kind of questioned that, but my mom was okay with that. Like, when I came along, baby, I'm her second daughter, so she done seen it all. She done been around the block 2 times at this point, maybe 4. So it was kind of like she knew I like loved my legs, so she was okay with me wearing stuff that stopped right at the top of the knee, like, or a little bit over the knee, because I like my legs and I like pumps, as opposed to some women would be. My mom, she definitely had this thing where growing up we didn't have shoulders out, so she would buy me like cute like crop jackets. So in church, I would just wear my crop jacket. Then when I get out, I could be free. You know what I'm saying? I could be in the parking lot with no jacket on. That was okay. So it just some settings, it's different. Because even there's this lady that I love. Like, I was joking with her on her photo shoot, and she was like, "Summer, I don't need all that makeup." She was like, "You got a lot of makeup." I was like, "Baby, we is at a photo shoot." A photo shoot. Giving very much. She know I love her because she was hollering when I said it. I was like, it is very much giving holiness, Church of God in Christ. But this is a photo shoot. Okay. So Me and her, we was rolling on that. Like, because I was telling her, I was like, you're supposed to wear a lot of makeup. It's a photo shoot.
I think people don't understand that.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love a good beat down on a regular. I do. So I was just like, this lightweight, this a here light affliction. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You said light affliction. So you're a mess.
So it boils down to conviction.
Well, I would say that, and just knowing, some people say know the house that you operate in, but we're in a generation where people don't believe in putting pantyhose on. You know what I'm saying? That's not like.
What are they still selling, man?
Do they still sell pantyhose?
They do. And nowadays people believe in a good clean shave and some cocoa butter. They do. So, it's like again, it's not saying that you have to get a new watch, but it's just like change the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because again, most traditional people just be like, okay, when you get up here, you don't need to be having like fresh legs. I've heard plenty of people say that, and then you with oil on them. You don't need to do that. But to be honest, again,
wait, so you're supposed to be ashy? What do you mean?
I'm not saying you're supposed to be ashy, but when your legs when your legs are, when you get your pedicure, right? And how they grease up your legs.
Yes.
And you know how your legs be like legging?
Yeah.
They don't want you to be legging up there. They don't want you to be dry, but they don't want you to be glistening because it's like because
your brother.
It is. It's almost like some people may have a leg. They might have a leg fetish. I like a good leg, and so some men might like a good leg. So they don't want you to be. They don't want you to be active. But they don't want you to be oiled. You know what I'm saying? And so I get it. I get it. You know how perception is everything. But again, I know that a lot of people have to work out their own soul salvation, and I know that. If people want to just be completely honest, man or woman, you could come on to anybody even if they're fully covered up. Because I've seen it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Not just naked.
That's what they do.
Exactly. They still come on you. Because men, they're looking at the face now. Everybody eats with their eyes first. They look at your face, they look at your body type. You know what I'm saying? People just eat, we just naturally eat with our eyes first. So I think, again, I don't want to go too far with it, but I think you do need to have, again, moderation is key. Some stuff should be left to the imagination, and it's a way to be subtle sexy. Because you can be sexy, like I'm wearing a jumper. You could be completely sexy just like this. And it could just really just be your overall confidence and the way that you're carrying yourself and your beautiful tresses just cascading in the wind. You know what I mean? And the way the sun hits your skin, your melanin.
Yeah, you're glistening.
You know what I mean?
That bronzer glisten.
Exactly. That highlight, baby. That highlight. Mm-hmm.
So what I hear you saying is confidence is sexy.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really translate to the actual clothes that you're wearing necessarily, but your confidence will exude that sexiness. So let's clarify for the people out there. We're not saying that you need to be indecent, right?
Yeah, or selling sex. You don't have to sell sexy. It really should be an effortless thing, to be honest. It should just be something about you that just says, when you walk into the room, you know what I mean? Like, just even when biblically, when Ruth was in the field, they knew Ruth was in the field. And I don't think, that she was wearing probably anything elaborate, to get anybody's attention. What were they wearing in the Bible days? So, I just think that her beauty and her personality was just top tier in and of itself. And that alone right there makes you super sexy to someone.
Say it. Thank you.
I think of the word ladylike because that's what I tell my clients. That's what I tell my friends, especially my younger friends that think of me as their big sister. I'm like, please just be ladylike. Lady.
Yes.
Be a lady. Just be a lady.
Be a lady. Yeah. Be classy.
Yeah.
Sophisticated. Yeah. Well put together.
Cross your legs.
Cross your leg. Oh, yeah. It should be some type of intentionality or distinction between you and a man. You know, if you put some thought and intention in the way that you look, the way that you smell, different little things that you can do to enhance, man or woman, to enhance your looks. You should look clean, groomed, as my grandma would say, look like folks or put together.
Look like folks.
That's what my grandma said. She said, you coming over here and I don't even look like folks, So she always say when you're around people and you're going out, you need to look like folks.
Southern vernacular.
Exactly.
Ain't it Southern? Ain't it Southern? Yes. So it's like you just need to look like you actually care. You know what I mean? Like, and I think in my family, they laugh at me all the time, but they're like, girl, one thing about Summer, honey, she gonna take her time when she get ready. Yes, because when you see me, baby, it's gonna be an entrance, honey. It's gonna be I've got to be ready for my day. When you see me, okay, it's a moment when you see me, honey. Like it's a smelling moment. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like an experience.
Yes.
Basically, it's gonna be an experience. My hair edge is gonna be, put in place. My jewelry, gonna give a great aesthetic when you see me. Because honestly, even when you're working in fashion, and my mom tells me this all the time, she's like, Summer, she's like, I actually have to put thought into my outfit. And I'm like, what, Mom? She's like, because people know you're a stylist. And they know
that she want to represent you.
Yeah. And it's not to say that my mom doesn't have like good style, but she just feel pressure. And I just be telling her, like, I just want you to be you. That's your best outfit. Your best outfit is really you. Like how you would wear it and not how you think you should wear it because I'm your child, But I know realistically I have to, like when you told me, you like, girl, we in a t-shirt today. I'm like, baby, that's how I felt when I woke up. That's exactly how I felt. But I was like, I can't realistically, I can't do that. Even when I go to work and I work with talent, they won't even, they don't feel comfortable around you, like doing adjustments, telling them about anything, and your outfit is just not looking cute. So I have days where I'm just like in a cute like Nike fit. Then I have days where it's like a little pull-up situation. Then I have days where it's a moderate, slight pull-up. So you got to have a little bit of balance. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about fashion, or even if you're talking about being a doctor, doctors, they give doctoring.
They do.
Yeah.
When you see them.
Right.
It's true.
That's true.
I want to ask you about why did you launch Yvonne Rowe? Because people don't even know that you even have an Yvonne Rowe. What is Yvonne Rowe?
Brand.
What is the purpose of Yvonne Rowe?
Yvonne Rowe, I created it for my mom, like because when I was growing up, she always had her hand in clothes in some type of way. Like my mom is like such a go-getter. Honey, she had 29, 81, 65 like hustles. Like my mom, like she's just always been that type of woman. Like if it was like $1 bill left on the earth, my mom's gonna get it. Like she's just that much of a go-getter. Her work ethic and her drive is just mind-blowing. Because my aunties, like she was telling me that the other day, she was like, Summer, your work ethic is like your mom and dad. Like you just stay busy. But I would say again, back to Yvonne Rowe, I started it for her. Because I wanted her to have like a piece of like legacy, like that she started something, And so, but Yvonne Rowe, Yvonne is her middle name, and then Rowe, that was just God breathed, if I'm saying that right. Did I say that right? That was him. Okay, that was all God added Rowe on there. That's what I mean. So, but Yvonne Rowe represents a woman that I am now and I am to become, and the woman that I always like knew I could and would become. Does that make sense? Yes. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's her. It's about evolution of me as a woman. And you'll see that with different pieces and how you know, I like a good pants number. So we have like pants, and then now I'm getting into like my boss babe vibe. So we got like suits for the boss babes, and you know, like, so it's again, it's the evolution of my style as a woman, because I'm 31, but I still want to be trendy, and I don't want to feel like I'm 51. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of women, like in my age bracket, we know that we don't really want to go into the city girls kind of vibe, but we still want to be like sexy, and we still want to be on trend. So that's kind of like that's what Yvonne Rowe is like, and we just do it the way we want to do it. We put our own little touch, our own little spin on that, you know. But again, it's just staying true to the essence of just a beautiful, confident woman, effortless. Like, and you see a lot of pieces that just amp up a look and don't require a lot of effort. So you see, these are, oh, here we go. Some of our rings that we have, and some of our bracelets. It's a shameless plug, and you see it goes with the peach aesthetic on my jumper.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Teach us now.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy about it. Everything on an Yvonne Rowe was handpicked by me. Like, it's a part of me. I've touched everything, every purse, every ring, every bracelet. And again, I know you guys asked me that earlier. If it doesn't feel like me, I don't want to do it. So everything that I picked out feels like me. That's why it's super special to me, because it is me, you know? So yeah.
So it's part of you. It is you. Yeah, I
Yes.
love that. So, do you want to end with one question? The one question?
I just want I want to end with Summer just sharing something that you want to share that we didn't cover, something you want people to know about you, something you want people to know about your platform, just anything that you want to add.
Okay, and I want to tag that, and I want to ask you, how do you stay true to who you are, and to give a self-care tip, because you got to have some kind of self-care routine in this industry. So how do you stay true to who you are, a self-care tip, and to share something that
It's on like 50 million questions to close out.
Look, okay. You know me, so
well, staying true to who I am, I think I have good accountability. I feel like I'm very grounded. I feel like if I lose my way, I have a good support system, should I say. You know, I got Coach Melissa, I have my pastor dad, you know, I have my mom, you know, so I do have like good accountability, you know, and that kind of helps me stay true to who I am, you know, even when things are looking like I have to go a different way. My dad will tell me, he'd be like, no, nope, you can still do it this way, and if you do it this way, it's gonna be good for you, you know.
Yeah.
So I just have like good support system, you know. I have a mentor, I've got friends, so I place great importance on maintaining my relationships out of industry. Like, industry friends are cool, great. We brunch it down, honey. We can go here, there, everywhere. But I place very, I guess what you say, I make it a point to make sure I maintain relationships outside of industry. Like, family is very important to me. Friends are very important to me. Making sure I see my friends, that keeps me grounded, rooted, you know, because sometimes, like, when again, you can get lost in the sauce, you know. So you gotta know your roots and stay true to that. And I think boundaries too is like a thing for me. And so by boundaries, like, I know when I have to rest. Like today, I know I need to rest. I make rest such a priority. I know that in order for me to be effective, thank you, Coach Alyssa, I need at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep, maybe 8. Some days I may get 6, some days I may get 7. I think the night before I got like 8 or 9, but we had a late call and I got off early because I was the first in. So I was able to actually get 9, which was awesome. Like, that never happens ever. So again, I know that in order for me to be effective, though, I need at least 7. At least, okay, 7. God, if we can get 6 hours and 30 minutes, I'd take it, you know. But I make rest a priority. Like I had to work last weekend and my aunt laughed at me because I told her, she's like, "Are you going to church on Sunday?" Because I remember I told you I worked on Saturday, so we couldn't do the interview then. I said, "No." I was like, "I'm taking a personal day." She started laughing. It's like, Summer, when did you ever take a personal day like from Jesus at church? I was like, he's okay with it because he knows he wants me to rest. He wants me to enter into his rest. Okay. And that's what I did because I had to rest, but I had to get a lot of stuff done in 24 hours. And time was just flying. Cook dinner, wash, do laundry, run errands, So I had to take my personal day, and I'm okay with that. Even if other people are not okay with that, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? And I think that's where my self-care starts. Knowing what I need. If I need to relax, I'm relaxing. If I need to do nothing, I'm doing nothing. And I think and I appreciate you, Coach Melissa, for really teaching me that. And I do prioritize like pampering myself. So getting my nails done, getting my hair done, getting massages, which I'm trying to figure out today. Can I go get one done? Getting my lashes done, cause baby, you know. So I just prioritize things that help me look good. Cause sometimes when you're working, it takes a toll on you emotionally, physically, mentally. But you don't have to look like what you're going through.
Right.
You have to look like you struggle. So that's why I kind of put things in place that would help me like feel good and give me a little bit of you know. So I think as women, we do need to prioritize that because we have our hands in a lot of stuff. So sometimes you just need a reprieve and being okay to tell everybody, like, I need a minute. I can't be nothing to y'all right now.
No.
My cup is empty. It's real
Not
low.
yet. Not today.
We running on fumes. Like, let me replenish me, and then and another thing I'm learning is like with certain people, I only pour when my cup is in overflow. And I think that's part of self-care too. Because if I'm trying to replenish, but you deplete me, the math ain't mathing.
Yes, we talked a lot about that.
Yeah, so I've come to learn that too. Like certain people and places, I'm only pouring from overflow.
Yep, just like your money. If you don't have it to let, basically, if you lend money and you need it back, don't give it.
Don't give it. Exactly. Yep.
Earlier in the broadcast, you said, "By knowing who I know who I am not." And that was super, super powerful.
Put it on a t-shirt somewhere.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so when closing out, let us know how that applies to women of all ages, of all sizes, when it comes to fashion, which is what you do.
I think it does apply beyond just fashion, because sometimes God is causing us to occupy spaces, not fit in spaces. So sometimes we feel the pressure where it's like there's this mold and we really need to fit in the place that he's calling us to occupy. And so whatever space that is, that could be medical, education, coaching, science, whatever realm or market we're just called to influence. We can't do that by fitting in, because again, we're called to occupy and affect that space. And so sometimes you think like, oh, I got to do it the way that they're doing it. But you don't. I used to tell my niece, like growing up, that she doesn't have to be anybody but her. And I think that's just the important thing with anybody. You don't have to be anyone but you. Stay true to who you are. Knowing who you are means knowing, like, like Coach Melissa has told me before, knowing what's not going to work for you. Knowing what it is that you need, knowing what it is that you don't need. And I've had, it's trial and error, because I don't feel like you just know that all the way. But when you just start putting in, or when you get put in certain spaces, you're just like, okay, yeah, nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. That's not me, And again, just the main thing is just staying true to who you are, and it's all about self-discovery. I guess we've talked about that too Coach Melissa. I think and I think we're always on that path of figuring that out. Because I told you in one of our coaching calls, because you were like, Summer, how old are you again? And and I was like 31, and I was like, it's okay because we can learn and unlearn and relearn. And I think that's where I'm at. Like I've come in recent days, like I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna come to this thing empty. And the reason why I like to try to come empty is because I can absorb or take in as much as I can. Because if you already come to a space like, well, I already know. Even if you come to coaching, like, I don't need coaching. She's going to tell me things about myself that I already know. No. You need to come empty and learn more, because if you already feel like you know everything, it's no room to know more. And you're going to miss out on more things. And that's what it is. We're in a school of life. We should be lifelong learners trying to figure out this thing out, how to navigate. And so, again, like Coach Melissa told me, like, when you know yourself, you know the red flags, you know what's not going to work for you. You know what I mean? So,
feel like a proud auntie, I'm telling you.
Hopefully I answered y'all question,
Yes, absolutely. And I have one more.
Oh, look at
Okay.
Why should someone hire a stylist, or what are the benefits of hiring a stylist?
Oh, that's a good point. I told her as soon as I get right, I'm definitely hiring her. For me, I'm lazy. I don't want to think about it.
Father, I stretch my hand.
Was it a tough question?
I stretch my hand.
It's probably a lot. It's probably a lot of.
I stretch, Lord. I stretch. Everybody just feel like they don't need a stylist, and I just feel like that's just like me saying you don't need an electrician, you don't need a mechanic. You just don't you don't need an accountant, but yet you're bad with finances. You don't need an accountant. You doing your own taxes, and Uncle Sam is like, sis, redo that. You don't need a nail tech. Shout out to mine, Thomas, but yet you doing it at home and your nails keep popping off. You just gotta know where you anointed at. And I'm okay with telling people that's not my anointing. This not. I'm okay with that. I really, you know what I'm saying? I tell people I'm not anointed in that. I like when I go to my hairdresser shop, and sometimes she asks me to help her wash people's hair and do a little curl. I'll be like, I'm a stylist by day and a hairdresser by night, but I'm not anointed for that. I'm not. So I think you got to be okay with that, because a lot of people come into the thing I don't need no stylist, I'm just da. Sometimes you don't, and needing a stylist does not mean that you don't have style, you don't have understanding, baby. You just have no concept of matching, coordinating, any of that. You just need a little touch. You just need a little help. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needed a touch from the Lord, and that's kind of what a stylist is. We just kind of give a little touch.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we reach out to clients, they get so offended. Because this other stylist, she was giving me the game on how she sends her pitch letters. And so she'll say I want to work with you. I like your style now currently. And I just kind of want to enhance your already established style.
Yes.
Because people get real sensitive about that. What you mean? Baby, I wear Zara. I be Polo down. I wear Christian Louis Vuitton. I wear Gucci. Designer this, designer that. And meanwhile, every stylist be like, just because you buy designer does not mean you have to. First of all, let's just let everybody get free right now. You do not have to buy designer to have style. My motto is for every client is, it's not about the brand, but it's about the style. Style is very much personal. So when you're working with a real stylist, I ain't talking about these ones who just know how to shop it down. They take you to Pennies real quick, pick out your look. Nah, I'm talking about a real stylist. You're going to do a client profile. Like, we're going to talk about the things that you like. We're going to talk about the areas on you that you like, the areas that you don't like, you know, the brands that you like, where you shop. Because a lot of things, it's just with style and fashion, like I mentioned earlier, it's a psychology. You know what I mean? There was a football player who said, if you smell good, you look good. Well, no, he said if you feel good, you smell good.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah. So it's all a psychology. The way that a garment lays on you, you know what I mean? The way that it feels. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all a psychology. And so that's kind of what it is with a stylist. We're applying a psychology, you know, with the aesthetics that we're going for, the colors, the fit, you know, the vibe, the mood. You know what I'm saying? The color palettes, if you will.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And
if
so
you don't know what none of those words are, you need to hire.
You need to hire a stylist. You know what I mean? Like, even if you look at me, you can see this light green palette on the back wall, and then I have like this darker tone green, but it's still standing out. And we've got like hints of white in the background, and then got a little accent of color over here. And then we have gold trimming that's really pulling out all these different colors. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
If that's not you, hire the stylist, hire the designer, you know, like hire a designer. I was reading a script, you know, because I wanted to design this project, but you know, they wanted to move a different way, budget and all this different stuff. But I was just telling my friend, you know, about like, you can hire anybody just to put the looks together. But, you know, if you don't have an idea of understanding a character, where they come from, you know, their family background, their beliefs, where they're currently living, all these different things says a lot about someone. Have you ever went downtown and just observed? Like, when I go to New York, I like to observe the people who are walking in New York. It's like, tell me you like fashion without telling me you like fashion. When I was in Manhattan, I noticed that all the girls up there wear Golden Goose. If you don't have Golden Goose, email stylesbysummer@gmail.com and we'll set up your session, okay? All the girls in Manhattan, they wear Golden Goose. Everyone is like, goose, 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 goose. Like, when you're walking down the street, I'm like, what is this thing here? But a lot of them love, like, they have this kind of city vibe. So they'll wear like a cute sweater and like a cute skirt, and then they'll have like some Golden Goose sneakers on, or maybe they'll wear like a cute pants, a cute pump, and a cute sweater and a nice handbag, and then they'll pull out their sneakers out of their handbag. So the way that they do things up there is a little different. Their style is a little bit more like effortless. So by that I mean they may wear like a cute denim top, and then they may wear like a cute boyfriend jean and a cute sneaker, and then have a couple like room. It just looks very like effortless, like they didn't even try. It's just real simple, cute, in other words. But I say that to say, like, again, just going back to the original question, because I can go on talking about fashion for days, is just sometimes you need to work with the stylist because they can take things in a creative direction that you haven't even thought of. You know, if you're doing anything branding related, you should have a stylist. Anything branding related, have a stylist. That's number one. Anything with your brand, anything with content, you need a stylist. You know, even I've worked with an artist, and I can tell when my clients have used me and then they spread their wings. You know, like, I've given them foundational stuff, and then now, like, with him, we tried like different things. Like, we tried different boots, Chelsea boots. That's not the name for the guys, but I think it's like a Chelsea boot for guys. But we tried different hats and fedoras, and he really expanded upon that so much to the point where, like, he has his own hat collection. Like,
that's
and you can tell when a client, like, you just lay foundation and then they just go with it and
they take it off. They take off with it. Like John said, he made a comment. He said, "But a style is a type of expression."
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, exactly. That tells a lot about you. Again, like talking about the girls in Manhattan, like when they wear Golden Goose, or they just walk around with a lot of stuff with sneakers on. It could be a real nice designer dress, honey. They pull out them sneakers on their bag, and go. But that tells a lot about them because they do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And
Public transportation.
They want to be cute but functional. So they know that, okay, when I get there, I'm gonna have a pull-up moment and then I'm gonna have a departure moment with them sneakers on. Like, they understand the assignment. So that's what booking a stylist is. It's just they understand the assignment. Period. Like,
fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for breaking that down for us.
Yeah. So yes, this was great, Summer. I really enjoy, I always enjoy talking to you. Like I said, bringing the energy, bringing the sunshine to the room.
Yes,
So, yes, I know I've been like sliding it through on the little banner thing, but just tell people how they can contact you, how they can find you on social media, like how can they book you, book a stylist, book an expert, people. Okay.
Heavy on that.
Heavy. Okay. Heavy on that. So yeah, just tell us.
Well, first of all, I don't know what it is with me with this tongue pop thing. Like, I just feel that strongly for me, But you can find me on Instagram at Summer Tinch, SUMMERTINCH_. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, Summer Tinch. You can find me on my website at www.summertinch.com. Heavy on that, okay? And just remember, it's not about the brand, it's about the style. Snatched by Summer, Slay Movement. What, Coach Melissa?
Period. Love it. I love it. So yes, thank you so much, Summer, for joining us. We really love and enjoy having you on our podcast.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I've been sisterfied today.
Yes, you have been.
I love a good sister.
Always welcome. You're always welcome.
Yes. So
I love a good sisters. Yes.
Today, I was looking forward to this because I need help. You understand me?
Look, she's gonna be calling you up, Summer.
Call me.
Call me.
Okay. We'll call you, girl.
So yeah, so thank you so much. I think somebody left a comment. Oh, he said okay. So yeah, so we just want to thank you and just keep doing what you're doing. I'm super, super, super proud of you.
Absolutely.
And I'm just so excited to see where you're going. And I love to see that you actually been listening to me.
I know, Coach Melissa.
Ain't yeah, she got clips and everything.
Yeah, like
Mr. Terry's been working.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So I just love it. I really do. And I also think, that God always, divine alignment. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm where I'm supposed to be. So you found me and you will be where you're supposed to be so people can find you. And that's just how it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's so true. I forgot who I was telling. I was telling my pastor that about you, and I was telling him when I went to Tony, where you can, what is it, mymentor.life?
Yeah.
So at the time when I found you, I think I've never told you this. So I was going through all those different coaches, and I was just scrolling. I was just like, that ain't it. I was like, that ain't it. He ain't it. And it was just when I saw your picture, Coach Melissa, it was just something about you like that I could see through your picture, and I was like, I'm a book with her. But it was just like all the other coaches, I just was like, nothing wrong with them, ain't nothing wrong with y'all. I love me some Melissa magazine, period. So I was just like, I just knew, like when you said divine alignment, I was like, I just knew. And I was telling my dad that, I'm like, I say this all the time, she is a woman of God, like a real woman of God. Like, I just knew that, like when I saw your picture, like I said, like, I'm like, yeah, this is her.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I'm always transparent, like with all my clients. So I am woman.
What you say?
I am human. I is woman, and I am, transparent.
Yeah.
So how can you teach and you haven't been through?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so just thank you guys. Thank you all for joining us live and listening to this. It's so much information here. Please review, repeat, rewind, whatever it is. Okay.
Yes.
Get this information. And again, if you need a stylist, if you need to talk fashion, if you need, and we didn't even touch on all the things she is. She has a boutique, Yvonne Rose. She's a minister of music. Like, she's a lot of different things. This young lady. Okay, so get to know her, hire her if you need her, especially like she said, if you're branding and you're getting out there, and if you're on set for film or media, whatever it is, contact Summer Tinch. Okay,
it's an online boutique.
Yes,
and you can contact my manager
in the comments.
What'd you say, Christy?
I said Yvonne Rose was a whole clothing line you had in the comments. My bad. It's a boutique. It's an online boutique. Correction.
She's speaking it into existence, honey.
Correction. Yes. Online boutique.
Well, she can start with that quote. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
By knowing who I am, I know who I am not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it. That's the one.
So yes, thank you so much. So yes, I'm hold the line. So thank you so much. We're going to end this interview, guys. Thank you so much for rocking with the Two Sisters podcast and Summer Tinch. Yes. Yeah. So again, follow Summer, guys. We are out. Peace.